I have an S600. The door's fine. Catches here. They're okay, but the tab to close the doors broke off. Now this, on both sides, this is not an easy fix. But we're going to do one. We're going to show you how to replace the battery compartment on an S600. You can see the tabs are broke off all the way around. That means the door will pop open. You can't hold the door closed. It doesn't lock. You see the door will pop open. Okay, I want to start by taking the camera apart, and we're going to take the screws out. We have a screw on the top. I'll take it out right above the battery door. Now obviously you're going to have a parts camera to do this job with. Maybe an old S600 don't work, or you can find one from somebody who blew up their main door board but has a good battery compartment. It does require using a soldering gun to do this. And there are a few cautions that I'll bring up about. These things have a very good flash in them, or a flash capacitor in them, very good flash and a flash capacitor. So we'll have to drain the capacitor to keep from getting shocked or damaging, or even worse, damaging the camera. I mean, it's bad enough to get shocked, but to damage the camera, we're going to pry at the top. We're going to take the back off, and we're going to have to get our finger right in here and pull that out. Then there's a catch up here in the top. We'll pull that up and pull that cover right off. Okay, next what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a piece of tape. Now I've seen people put it in the back, but we won't do that because I do need to take the LCD off this camera. So we're going to put a piece of tape right there. It doesn't matter if you cover the keypad or not. This will keep that LCD from flopping around, because you could break a cable or break a wire. We can solder a wire back on, but preferably we don't want to break a ribbon, because that means the LCD is no good. So now you want to open up the battery door all the way, and that'll let us pull this camera apart. And again, we're going to have to get our finger underneath this section here and pull up that side, because there's a clip right here at this top, and we can release it by pulling up on that. Then we can pull out off our front cover. Now if I'm going to do a hack to this camera, which I will be, I'll be hacking this camera. I can cut. If I'm going to hack it, if I'm not hacking, I don't want to do this. But I'm going to be hacking it. I'm going to cut the lens cover wires, and I just cut them right off because I don't need them for the hack, because I disable it anyhow, and I just pull them all the way out of there and I throw them away. But if you're just doing this to repair your camera, don't cut them. It will make it a little more difficult. You could desolder them and solder them back on. And now I have my camera. And what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to actually peel this all off this battery compartment. So I need to remove this cable here, and we pop that off of there. Now I need to pop off, and just by putting your fingernails underneath these, you can pop these up. Just pop them up, and they'll pop, and then you can take the ribbon out. I'll use a little needle on those, and I can pull them off. Now I'm going to pull the, you don't have to, but I am. I'm going to pull the, the whole lens assembly out so it's out of my way. Now there is what I mentioned earlier. We need to, before I go any further, I probably should have done this before I actually went that far, but we need to drain the capacitor. Now what I have here is a 1K resistor. I soldered 2 wires on it. You get the Radio Shack for real cheap. I solder wires to it. Now what I want to do is drain the capacitor. And my capacitor, if you ever hit one of these things, you'll know because it'll straighten your hair right out. And what I want to do is touch one of both sides so I'm going to drain the flash capacitor. If I don't do that, I'm going to get shocked. You can fry the board because you put voltage to other parts of the circuits that's not designed for that kind of voltage. So it should have already been drained since I touched them, but this thing I always like to make sure. So now my capacitor's drained. That takes a big fear, but I don't exactly go around touching it just in case it didn't. The next step is we need to take the speaker off. So we need to take this little piece off, bring this up around, let it there. We don't want to lose this. We'll need that later. Okay, I'm going to stand the camera up. And this is a messy little procedure here. I could have done this before, but I need this screw right here out. And that lets me take my power bar off. And I can move this out. There's a little catch up here by the LED. I pull that back just a little bit. Don't pull back where you break it. And I did pull that in a little bit more than I'd like. They're fragile and you can break them off. And that gives us access to our power bar. Okay, now the board is held on by a couple catches here, and it's soldered on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little screwdriver underneath the board so I can get a little bit of pressure up on it. I'm going to heat that solder, and I can pop that right off of that little tab. That's the same thing here. I don't want to poke around too hard because there is resistors and stuff back there. Okay, we're disconnected. Now we're disconnected off our 2 posts. And I have to now I got to unhook my LCD with the tape. Now my 2 wires, I need to bring it right up around. And I know this looks messy, and it really is. There's a screw down here I need to get. Right down here. Pull that screw off. Right there. That helps hold this metal piece on. It's almost like peeling an apple or peeling something. I'm actually going to peel this right off. And as you can see, it peels right off. I'm going to take the microphone. And everything, the whole thing peels right off. And it looks like a mess.